So we'll see what they end up going for, though. I mean, so far they ban out the Drow Ranger, which is, you know, if you are going to go for a hard push, you don't want to get hard push back. You just want to hope that Virtus.Pro is going to take a little bit more time with their draft as they ban out the Bounty Hunter and the Rubik. Rubik actually has been, there's been a lot of Rubik plays for iG.Vitality this weekend, and not only Burning plays it, but Q as well, so they had 3 Rubik games. Strong ban.
I was gonna say I really liked seeing when they played the Rubik and the Bounty. I mean, these VP obviously did their homework. They knew what was going up against them from IG. Burning had a great performance on the Rubik, and Q's Bounty Hunter is probably one of their strong things. Same thing, going for that kind of lane dominance. The Rubik maybe not so much lane dominance, but it's an aggressive hero that can kind of, you know, make things happen with very little.
They are quite intimidating, and it does look like that Shadow Demon you were talking about immediately pops up fogged.
Yep.
What makes it so scary in the hands of VP?
I mean, Solo just knows the ins and outs of the hero. He plays it incredibly well. He completely ignores Shadow Poison, even gets stats instead of it sometimes, just gets the Disruption, Soul Catcher. It's super powerful, it scales very hard into the laning game. And maybe just, it lets him, it has like those, you know, that kind of thing with like, the Disruption is either aggressive or defensive. It gives you multiple different ways to play it.
Yeah, iG.Vitality then picking up the Luna, so kind of denying it, but at the same time, it's still going to be strong if Virtus.Pro can copy that. So it's a tough one to go up against. It does make sure that IG has a bit more pressure behind their lineup, but we already knew that they wanted to have that kind of pressure anyway. At least we already expected it. Oh, and this is the Slaughter.
There's the Slaughter.
Nine Pasha plays it, but Lil as well. Very open, very versatile, very strong.
And seeing Luna picked by IG, interestingly enough, Luna and Shadow Demon were picked 17 times in the group stage, and Luna itself had 70% win rate in the group stage with that particular hero. So do keep your eyes on that. And Batrider as well, another common presence in the draft.
Yeah.
Just gives you both these give you a heavy laning presence and just a great mid game. So that's like pretty much what they're going for here. So they're, you know, they recognize what they really need to be doing in this game versus VP.
I mean, admittedly, aren't they usually paired together, Luna and Shadow Demon? Now they've been on either sides of the battlefield.
Yeah.
To see that one.
Get to see that one indeed, and so far both of the openings don't really give too much away about what the teams are going for, or at least not really anything like out of the ordinary. It's kind of straight to the point, very straightforward here. So I'm curious to see what we're gonna see from the offlaners most of all. As for in July, he has already got the Batrider secured. But how does Batrider pair up against a Shadow Demon lane? Do you wanna go for the Shadow Demon +1 and go that up against the Batrider, or are you gonna rotate and have the Slaughter against the Batrider if he's for 9 Pasha?
Shadow Demon can zone pretty decently with one other hero. Obviously, you have like, if the Batrider like plays over aggressive, you just get disrupted, and you don't know if another hero is just gonna rotate and kill you. So that's always like the kind of hard thing about playing the Batrider versus Shadow Demon. And of course, like into like later stages, if someone gets last, like is able to disrupt.
Yeah.
And I mean, what's so interesting, and I think needs to be reiterated here, is that Batrider has, you know, he's been hit by the nerf bat on multiple occasions, right? Like, he's undergone so many changes, and he's still present in the draft. He's just so intimidating.
That's what Blitz was saying. We were talking about this with the DC coach,
Oh yeah,
William Blitz Lee, and he said that, you know, you'd need to change the hero fundamentally to really remove him, because everything that he does is so good.
Right.
So you'd need to change him a lot for him to not be like a god tier pick.
he's just frustrating as well. Like, you get sticky on you, you just can't turn around. You know, that could tilt you.
Yeah, that could tilt you.
But we already know that they can be prone to tilting on the IG side, so it's probably a good job that they've got Batrider, of course. That was according to Sakata, or him personally can tilt.
He seemed pretty confident.
Yeah, he's chill, man.
So they ban out the Weaver, they ban out the Sniper. I mean, both of them obviously make a lot of sense versus VP's lineup, or versus VP, just because, you know, they even pick Sniper like in very like random scenarios. And it's not really like versus an OD or anything.
I know that guy.
So that's cool. You know that guy? Cool.
Yeah, it was Suns fan. That was a picture of Suns fan. I know that guy.
They still ban out the Juggernaut, even though Paparazzi will probably play the Luna, but Sakata has played a couple of games with Jugger as well, so want to avoid that in the mid lane. Does it give anything away about what they're going for mid? Because basically they're banning out 2 heroes that they don't want to go up against mid. I'm thinking a Dragon Knight. No one's Dragon Knight is very strong. It's
they used it a lot in the qualifying.
Yeah.
They were happy with it. Yeah. I mean, the Weaver ban makes sense from IG, because God knows you don't want to give that to VP, but...
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Like, point out that the DK, like VP isn't usually like that afraid anyway. Like, no one actually just like kind of plays versus any, but giving him the best game is definitely like the opportune thing. So like looking at VP's lineup, the things that stand out to me at least is like they're probably gonna go for like their Darkseer, their Dragon Knight, get the mech timing, have probably the support Slaughter. Still not obviously like put out there, but that's what their comfort is for the most part that they like to do.
It's early for pro players. You know, it's early morning. Take it nice and easy. Get a nice
Absolutely.
straightforward lineup. You don't want to do anything too crazy. This is early in the day. They need a good few hours to warm up.
Well, while they are thinking about it, I do want to kind of regurgitate some information regarding VP. And they came in with this kind of hyper-aggressive tag attached to them. You've seen them play in the group stage. Admittedly, it was quite brief, considering how quickly they glided through it. But did we still see them? Do they still deserve this hyper-aggressive tag, or have they got more diversity to their game now? I mean, surely they don't just have one playstyle, Fog.
No, I mean they've recognized like a lot of what they've had, like what their old mistakes used to be. They always pick like this lineup that's very good in the laning phase. Maybe not like super strong lane phase, but strong, like pretty strong in the laning phase. Very good mid game, very good late game. Always making sure that they have like different types of damage instances, making sure they can take objectives very easily, high damage burst as well. Like Shadow Demon Slaughter opens up a lot for yourself. Obviously with Amplify and Soul Catcher, any hero can get bursted down.
Right. I'm actually very intrigued that Lifestealer has been picked here. Out of the 12 games he was picked in the group stage, he won 4 of them. One of the least successful picks we saw in the group stage.
But were those 4 wins when they were on Virtus.Pro?
Probably a good question to ask.
Ramsey's Lifestealer is something to definitely fear, and when it's paired up with the Slardar as well, it's a whole nother monster. So,
yeah, I
go for
really love the
Darkseer.
Treant Protector. That is the savior of lanes. I think we talked about it a little bit on a panel during the group stages where Treant Protector was picked, and it kind of removes the aspect of single outplay, or at least doesn't really remove it, but it makes it a lot more difficult for a player to get a single kill on someone that, you know, by purely outplaying them. It requires more of the rotation coming out from the teams, and it helps them just keep the lanes more stable, which we have been talking about is very important for iG.Vitality this game. And
Complexity put it to good use.
that was it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they did.
yeah.
I think it's, you know, they picked it, but, you know, VP picks the Darkseer. Obviously, Iron Shell very good at removing the tree refractions and able to, like, it's a hero that forces your team to group up with the Darkseer. So you want to group up and you want to take a tower in one push. So it's kind of it's a very good hero in most stages versus the Treant Protector.
Do you think VP are maybe lacking some push right here?
I think the DK was the one that stood out for me like super heavily. I would be very surprised if they didn't pick it. It fits their lineup perfectly. It gives them more lockdown, which they kind of lack right now. It's just the Slardar pretty much there, and I mean that's just VP, right? It fits everything that they need.
Yep. A lot of melee though, if they go down that road. I guess
it's a lot of melee.
The range form with the dragon is fine, but that is a 4 melee heroes.
Wow, that was quick.
Yeah,
well.
VP. Yeah, that's a. I mean, this is cookie cutter.
Yeah.
VP for the most part. I thought maybe they might get the Lifestealer 4th and the Darkseer 3rd, but they just kind of left it a little bit more open-ended. They probably thought that Pasha, you know, leaving the Slardar to kind of have an option of either being support or off lane, letting it be more ambiguous was a better choice by them. But
Timbersaw is in the pool, isn't he?
Yes.
I'm wondering if they could take that and maybe run him mid or push him to the off lane and put the bat mid maybe.
They could definitely
It'll be
do
pretty
that.
good Timber in this game, I think.
The last pick.
We'll see what runs against the Dragonite that is really, really good against the Dragonite. I mean, Dragonite is not going to really lose his lane regardless, but what could do well, Funked?
That was Mamamoo, wasn't it?
That was Mamamoo.
That was Mamamoo and Papa Moo. Yeah. I mean, Timber looks pretty decent. I don't remember actually if Cicada plays it that much though, right? I know Paparazzi's played it a few times.
A lot of Queen of Pain, Templar Assassin, Shadow Fiend, Evoke Rody.
Please not Queen of Pain.
It's a good job Winter's not on the desk.
They do go for
It
the
is the Timber.
Yeah,
There
It's
you
very
go.
good versus all the melee versus the heavy strength lineup. So
Okay.
interesting.
Interesting. Is that going to be the kind of closing thoughts then? IG going up against a very scary Virtus.Pro, but the draft hasn't completely changed your mind. No. Just clarifying. All right. Well, we'll leave it there for us here at the desk because our casters are ready. We're going to let them talk it through. On the menu tonight for your casting dish, it's none other than Toby and Merlini. I call them Tobini.
Well, I know we're a bunch of dishes, but Tobini, I don't know if I really want to have that one.
You can quit a new one. Well, we've got a happy crowd behind us.
That we do. It's a wonderful early morning to start a great day of Dota. Virtus.Pro going up against iG.Vitality. I know a lot of people are looking at VP to be the #1 team, even to win the entire major at this point, but I don't know if iG.Vitality have enough to knock them off. This is a best of 3, though.
Well, this is a draft that they should surely be expected to face up against. I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, I was actually wondering like how the draft would unfold. She was calling it perfectly that we'll look to see like the DK coming in from VP for that mid lane play. I was waiting for the Lifestealer as well. This is VP in a nutshell. Nothing changes, nothing is different. And iG.Vit, Fog was asking for really strong lanes, and it appears through that draft they've actually got that. Treant Protector always going to be there to lend that lending hand or living armor.
and the Witch Doctor and Timbersaw. It's very, very good versus 3 strength, 4 melee lineup that they're running.
You were wondering, though, if there was going to be enough magical damage. I know we're talking about this during the drafting phase. Does iG.Vit have enough of that? Does the Timbersaw actually help provide enough of that burst that VP should be at least more focused on killing the Timber?
Definitely. I saw some strange bans, though. I think they banned out Ember.
Yeah, Ember was the final ban.
Like, I don't think I've seen that hero in a long time.
No, it would have been a very odd lane as well. But maybe they're just wondering, like, what would be a bit of a problem matchup. That is the upside about the lineup for iG.Vit. The fact that Batrider, there's no, like, Sleight of Fist steering change, which would have, like, messed around with him at all. So he can actually initiate properly on almost every single core. The SD, not as great a counter as he used to be up against the Batrider just because of the range.
And looking at Ramsey's items, I wonder what's going on through his mind. He started off with 2 tangos, and perhaps wondering if he needs to Iron Talon at the start, maybe get some boots.
Well, he's going to head down to bottom lane, and IG actually do what they're doing, which is the Iron Talon abandoning Batrider. He's gone straight into the Dire jungle. Like, can you rush up something else? If you're only going to have the tangos, can you go maybe even that early Hand of Midas and get a big injection into the mid game?
I think he'd rather probably get an armlet very, very early on. And Lil, they don't have an Ogre. That was first ban, but he's kind of playing like one.
This is the way all the CIS teams love playing their Slaughter. Normally it's actually done in combination with the Iron Shell of Pasha, but you kind of need to get him up to level 3 to have that level 2 before it becomes really effective. So both of the off lanes very absent from heroes, the VP and iG.Vit. They're both just sticking to the neutral camps for the moment.
And it looks like Treant Protector is going to head down to the bottom lane. Was wondering what Q was going to do that. Sometimes we see the level 1 Nature's guys so that he can go for a chicken snipe, but looks like he just wants to soak out some experience.
Well, as long as he doesn't get caught out. With the rotation of Solo as well as Lil, you can find Q hogging around that bottom rune area. Not the easiest kill in the world. Just because he's just innately tanky. And with Leech Seed, it's a very difficult kill as well. This will be a very passive early start to the game until everyone starts to build into their primary items. The only lane which you could potentially see some big pop kills is this combo we've seen multiple times during the group stage, and that's the Timber versus the Dragon Knight. But you wait until that level 6 on the Timber once you bring in the Chakram.
Yeah, the Timber doesn't have a Quelling Blade, so he's actually losing out a little bit in the CS department. Just a little bit behind, but very difficult versus the Breathe Fire. And in the bottom lane, this wave is pushed up all the way to the tower because iG.Vitality have a very nice sentry ward that blocks a big camp. And VP expended a ward already, unable to de-ward, and Q will get some free XP. Much needed.
Actually really nice for Q to get so much of this. It may have been a little bit nicer for the Batrider to pick that up, but in July, okay, now he's going to TP down to the bottom. Ramses opens up, but now with Rage of cooldown just a little bit of a second, in July can harass Ramses down, but Solo is there, so with the defensive disruption, he'll keep in July back. But iG.Vit keep their tower alive, and VP understand that chipping away at a T1 tower when you're going up against a Treant Protector doesn't make a lot of sense, but this does, if they can actually attack into the Luna. Burning, better stand by. iG.Vit, really strong lanes. We called it before, it's just this Treant as well as Witch Doctor. They make sure iG.Vit will survive.
And they're able to keep tabs on the Slaughter. Slaughter he's not the most tanky hero if he's around sprinting, so they can't tower dive too much. Need to wait for more items on the Lifestealer. And he's not getting absolute free farm on the bottom lane.
Lil's hoping for something, but he's not going to get it at the moment. This actually has to be one of the most passive starts the VP have been forced into in this entire tournament so far. They've always been looking for kills, always been looking for that hunt, that level of aggression, but their lineup is just a little bit slower than that. So it's a lot more patience we're seeing out from Virtus.Pro.
And Injali is able to free farm wherever he wants. 4.5 on the Batrider, just constantly stacking.
And everything else just becomes a contest. That top little pool camp.
I don't really see any signs of VP trying to turn up the pressure anytime soon.
Well, they can wait, right? Like, until Lifestealer's level 6, he doesn't even have a combo hero. You've got the sprint that comes out from the Slaughter. Potentially with Surge from Darkseid, that initiation range is going to get better for Virtus.Pro. But who do you initiate on? you still want to initiate into a Leech Seed. The troublesome Q, who got a lot of levels from the bottom lane, so having overgrowth's also a problem. And Q is actually doing a nice little job. The crush will come from Lil, but with the Leech Seed already out, burning, no reason to throw the Paralyzing Cask out just yet, but with Pasha moving over, this might be a better reason. In July, rotates in too. They go for another crush. Q is low, but the damage onto Lil is so high, the living armor won't protect him. Lil will get the bash in the first blood, loses his life burning. But a kill is a kill. VP gets something on the board. iG.Vit something straight back.
He ain't all in for that end. Whew, that was a close one. But if they wait too long, then Batrider's just going to get his Blink Dagger, smoke up, get a free, get a couple of easy kills. They don't have the best supports to deal with the Batrider. Shadow Demon's like all right, I would say. Just not the best range on that disruption to save people. But as you mentioned before, who do they really gank? Top has Witchstalker defending, and then all the lanes have Treant Protector defending.
It seemed to make more sense to go on that little insurgent mission of Lil. Like maybe you catch the Batrider when he's low doing that stack, because that's exactly what In July was doing. He was doing the big stacks he had inside the jungle, but had to be pulled off to come over. So he only loses out in 2 skeleton minions. That's all he lost because of his movement. And he still gets the experience levels from killing off the Slaughter, or being involved in that.
In the bottom lane, Q spots out Lil, trying to wrap around from behind. With the Blightstone, this tower should fall shortly, if not for the help of the living armor.
Maybe they actually bring in more support too to hold this tier 1 tower until they bring detection. They actually cannot kill off Q. You'll always have that Nature's Guide to dive back into. So he's got to pull Ramses off the tower. Ramses, whenever he plays his Lifestealer, loves just to rage, have a TP scroll if he needs to get back out again. But he'll rage to protect and just beat the tower down. But Q will hold this. He just needs a little bit of help.
Yeah, just need to buy a little bit more time for the Batrider. And Luna, top of the CS charts right now. Pretty decent lead over everyone else, and in the mid lane, Timbersaw is slightly behind the Dragon Knight.
It's going to be our first little smoke of the game, burning it in July. So in July, he did spend all of his money, didn't go directly in for a Blink Dagger, instead he's got those Tranquils, Raindrops, plus the Wind Lace for the movement speed. So trying to close the distance, and they're pinging out. I don't know if they actually want to head to the top, or if mid is their goal. No one will be the nicer gank to have. This will get Sakatara a little bit in front. And Chakram slows him down. Now the Paralyzing Cast, just a quick stun, allowing for the lasso with the early points of a Maledict as well. Dragon Knight being dragged back in through the fire. Need a little bit more damage now. No one will definitely pop. iG.Vit with successful smoke rotation kills off the VP mid.
That was a great angle for them to gank from. They came from the left side, and then Timbersaw covered his retreat path to the right so that he could get slowed down to the point. And this is the smart play, a big play from the Batrider to actually not straight farm for the blink. They'd expect maybe a timing around 9.5 minutes, I would say, at this pace for like a blink smoke. And so he thought he had a couple more minutes to farm, and that's a very difficult game to predict.
And so iG.Vit ahead in the board. They're actually fairly ahead in CS too. One big thing is the fact that Paparazzi's got so much space on the top. He's managed to already crack that 60 CS mark, sitting just about 400 net worth in front of the Lifestealer mid lane. The gank is on. SD is all there. Even the Darks here committing that wall, so they want to attack into the tier 1 tower.
And you can see the effectiveness of Solo's kind of patented build, his Max Soulcatcher build with no Shadow Poison. That's kind of been the go-to for most Shadow Demons now, but the Timbersaw just dropped. There's no chance of a TP reaction, even with Living Armor. He's not going to survive.
We're going back into stall, however. There's no Sentry Ward, there's no detection again on Virtus.Pro. This allows Q to freely walk up wherever he wants to. So Burning drags the creep wave back. Now they TP the Timber back into the mid lane. So all this chip damage you normally get from a DK, which we capitalized on in a couple of minutes' time, it doesn't happen. Q's already got 3 points up in Living Armor. In July might be in a little bit of trouble with the open wounds on him, but Ramses, that rage won't last long enough. And with the Firefly down, he cannot pursue In July into the trees.
And VP just don't know where to attack right now. Mid tower is still very healthy. Bottom tower was at a 3rd HP, but now it's healed back up by the Living Armor, and they're just buying so much time. VP, this is the time where they attack all the lanes, get a couple of kills, and start to get their Blink Daggers and just keep the train rolling, but there is just nowhere for them to go, except for farm, and they don't want to farm.
You got to give props to iG.Vit. They've read VP's timing perfectly. They understand how to counter against it. Farm up a huge core. It's going to be a very big Luna going into the mid game. Burning's still getting levels for himself too. the fact this Treant was able to get so many early levels, that living armor, maybe the sort of chip push the VP was running was going to be more successful because they're chipping away at the tier 1 with the lifestealer, the DK into the mid. Like, all this is working nicely, but 3 points up in living armor is so damn efficient.
They just limit the Slaughter's timing. They don't really have a good place for the lifestealer to infest. Like, they can't really get quick picks like they want until he gets his Blink Dagger, but he's sitting at 300 gold right now, and with no towers coming anytime soon, and with in July getting free farm, it might be a tough task.
Everyone's going to moonwalk for just a moment. We'll pause up and get a little bit more stable. So we can always just laugh it off. But yeah, Q, maybe once that armor is there for Ramses, he can force the issue a lot harder. Force rotations out from iG.Vit, because right now it feels like iG.Vit are committing only just the bare minimum to hold the lane, to drag the lane back.
I think overall, though, this is going much better for iG.Vitality. VP maybe not expecting such a staunch early game from IG.
That's a support player right there, everybody. That's burning.
With this set,
It's a very, very nice set. Crafted in gold. Hi, everybody.
we're admiring the models.
Yeah, that's what it's like. We've got mood lighting down here in the theater. It's a beautiful theater as well. The atmosphere, it's nice to actually bring a Valve Major back into a theater environment after Ben and Royal Hall.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful.
It's cozy.
It is. It really is. It's a lot more intimate.
Yeah, I can almost touch crowd.
Almost. They're just there. They're just there. But man, like this game is a lot closer. Like when I woke up this morning, I'm like, okay, VP versus iG.Vit. I'm not expecting it to be as close after iG.Vit's performance during the group stage, but they really seem to have, in the last 2 days, because each team had a 2-day break coming into this, maybe even a little bit more if you played in the Group A. They've taken their time, they've looked at VP, and VP did exactly what we were expecting for them in the draft, and iG.Vit, at least they've got their draft in position to help them win here.
But that's the thing about VP's draft. All 5 of their heroes you could have probably easily predicted, especially with the bans coming out and the first phase Luna from iG.Vitality, and there's a couple differing theories on the draft. One is like pick if you win, just keep picking the same thing until someone breaks you, or just change it up every game so they never know what's coming. So that's kind of like Wing's philosophy versus VP's philosophy, and VP have yet to really be tested, especially in the group stage where they just steamrolled everyone. But I would say this Treant Protector pick is causing a lot of difficulty for VP, and it's just slowing them down a lot. Even faring over a Dust or a Sentry Wars can stall precious seconds, and all these towers still alive is a big problem.
And wasn't it Lil who said during an interview over at the summit, the fact like if they have to change up, like if someone does force them into a different position, like they would only have to reveal maybe 10% of their strats in order to get back on top. So we're back into the game now, so everything is smooth for the players, and we continue this battle where we left off. VP were trying to bring down the tier 1 tower and bottom lane. iG.Vit are in a good position to trade, so they're now pushing the tier 1 tower with the regeneration of Burning, that little babysitting of In July, and the damage that comes in from a Luna. It's a straight tier 1 tower trade-off, so eventually it was going to happen. But iG.Vit managed to stall that long enough, they get themselves a good trade-off.
And bringing up the items, I see that iG.Vitality have heavily committed to raindrops. They have 4 raindrops on their side right now and only 1 on the side of VP, so they just do not want to... Look, there hasn't been any fights with me, so it's like, do you expect to be able to farm, or do you want to actually fight a lot? And judging by this and this smoke, they are ready to get some kills.
That smoke happened right underneath the Radiant Observer Ward, so Virtus.Pro are very aware what iG.Vit are doing. It was a ward that was placed down a long time ago by Solo.
Yep.
So all they wait for is the mid gank. So even if the smoke's going to fail, you want no one to reveal himself. You want someone to show themselves, because you just move around and run this with this Luna, a straight pressure, tier 1 to tier 1, and you can't jump VP before they're willing to defend. The Dragon Knight form was already triggered. You do not have this. So instead it's going to have to be Lil combining up, and yeah, here comes VP. Coming in for Solo, can't get disruption off, he was moving to the front lines to try it. As it all VP get is the amplification over on the Batrider.
They're also struggling for one of their ultimates. Shadow Demon is the only hero in this game that does not have his level 6. Which could be a problem.
Not certain if iG.Vit, with one person up the hill, they would have seen that smoke. So iG.Vit now disappear into the trees, quite literally with the tree and protector. And
However,
as VP, who are now going to attack, they're going to attack into iG.Vit.
there is very little way they can push into this. And nope, Blink Daggers on either side, so daytime means very little chance of actually getting a kill, but now nighttime has descended upon us. Might be time for them to make some more aggressive maneuvers. Now the DK has to be very, very scared when farming his jungle. They don't really have great vision on that bottom side of the map, which would be a great attacking angle for Vitality to come from. Shadow Demon kind of sitting behind.
Have we really turned this into 5-man Dota? Paparazzi was able to find a double damage rune in the bot river, so farming up the quick. There was just a one ancient stack for him.
I think this definitely favors Vitality. They have a much better team fight. And VP, which of their heroes are good at team fight? Just the Darkseer, really. I'm looking at the other 4, and they have a fair amount of damage, but a lot of it single target.
And until you get Blink Daggers, is it really that effective?
Yeah, they need maybe a big vacuum crush, but that's pretty hard to pull off in this. And the Lifestealer is always going to be hindered by the Treant Protector. And of course, they have to worry about the magic damage output from the Luna and the Timbersaw before any BKB come out.
So as I said, VP just turned this into just a little bit more of a split game again. So the tier 1 tower in the top lane is being harassed down with the Dragon Knight triggering his form. Wants this kill because this will allow one to finish up his armor. But iG.Vit, again we go into it. A 1-for-1 trade, tit for tat. It'll be the tier 1 tower that iG.Vit want in the mid.
They're doing a 3-man smoke though. And they're leaving the DK up on top, so iG.Vitality may be a little bit wary.
He has the TP scroll available, so this can still be a fight. The tier 1 towers are taken, and iG.Vit now heading to the south.
They're pinging them out, but iG.Vitality are sticking together as a ball, and most of them are just stacked behind the Luna just in case one of them gets caught out. They have a ward to drop their tracks behind. Will it pop the smoke? Yes, it will.
So Lil gets revealed.
Radiant's bottom tower.
And he's only just close enough to do that too.
And iG.Vitality head straight back to mid. They don't want to lose a tower.
Well, they're becoming a lot more confident to fight now. Luna's just completed a Commander style, flying out with a level 2 ultimate from her. You can still get in close thanks to Nature's Guise. The detection being that close to your own tower, not really possible. They know there's a sentry ward because their other one got de-warded.
It's much better for them to defend so they can heal the tower and then make a favorable trade later. This T1 tower, especially important for them because Luna wants to farm Ancients over and over again as much as you can.
There's so little in this game. I got a smoke maneuver from iG.Vit, but the network's really close. Like, not even 100 gold in it at the moment.
They saw Pasha TP bottom. That will be their target, but he is surged and he is gone.
Well, even if they don't kill Pasha, the Luna's going to force the lane out. With 4 points up in Glaive, she pushes really, really quickly. And July is searching in around the tower, so they realize that no one's there to defend. They even scanned just beforehand. No one to pick off, so this is just going to be a tier 1 tower. And Virtus.Pro, for the first time, they're not in position to get a counter tower
Lil's
straight
getting
away.
a lot of space, though. Lil's just farming the top lane. He was sitting at 300, 400 gold maybe just a few minutes ago. But now, closing in on his Blink Dagger halfway there. iG.Vitality, do they want to defend this mid tower? I don't think that they're set up in position to do so, especially with that Observer Ward behind the T1 tower and Lil wrapping
Do they
around.
see him? They see him. The sentry ward's there. Q's going to be revealed. A quick crush and a quick kill. Very deep into the Observer and Sentry, just to the southeast of the mid-tier 1. So it's the kill and a tier 1 tower trade-off here from VP and iG.
Yeah, 3 of their Observer Wards are in the mid lane. And they could have did a lot just for a tree kill. Lost a T1 tower in the process, but Lil still kind of just away from his team, doing his own thing.
Is that team fight timing you're talking about? Just build up to it, be patient. That's all VP need to do. If you take a really bad engagement here, which is also very possible, all you do is just you feed the Luna. And then you'll have no way to deal with her.
Especially before BKB. And I think that's the sort of game where if you're the Slardar, you kind of want to aim for a BKB going in late, or else the Timbersaw will just destroy you every time you go inside the fight. So I also think it's important for the Slardar to stay alive so you can aim multiple people. They don't have a really good way to take it off aside from the Manta on the Luna right now. So I think Lil is a very important hero in this game.
As long as he doesn't die, Lil. Okay. Action fake crush. the bounty rune.
And despite all this farming, Timbersaw is actually pretty far behind. He is number 4 in net worth and has not gotten his Bloodstone yet.
In July, tried to slip over bottom lane. The pings already came out. I think he's asking for another invis. Solo started his TP. Lil's on the run out. So it's Virtus.Pro understanding the movements here of iG.Vit. They don't really have that many deep wards to find iG.Vit's movements. They see Burning stacking thanks to the Observer ward. That's right next to Sentry. That was what helped VP in the last fight. And the other one's sitting right in front of the tier 2 tower. So they don't see much more outside of the mid lane. The jungles are very, very dark for them.
But Luna's just been taking stack after stack after stack.
She's about to hit the 10,000 net worth. Nice little mark for her. Already with the Dragon Lance, already with the Mana Style. The range is good. The Confusion from her is also good.
I think it's about time for VP to fight, though. They have the Blink Dagger on Slardar. They have a DD in No One's Bottle. And Lifestealer has his Echo Saber. Most of his items are complete, aside from perhaps a Desolator.
It's also IG's time to fight. They're getting far enough away from that Observer ward. In fact, Burning is dewarding it at the moment. That they can do something with the Blink Dagger, which is freshly onto in July.
I would say it's a fairly predictable smoke, though, because Batrider's not showing, and then they just dewarded and they're all grouped up around mid. So if they do it, I think VP will kind of expect it at this particular moment.
So what else do you try to attempt? Like, you just keep farming?
You can maybe make Roach play, but VP already have Observer wards in the area, and they have eyes on Burning, so...
Maybe even time for a gem, then get it up on the Batrider. Risky when you still want to run a Treant Protector.
So now they see in July. He thinks he's safe with the Nature's Guide, but Treant Protector died there not too long ago, and with the Observer Ward Sentry combo, Blink Dagger will be revealed.
He kind of has to know. Like with the way the fight happened previously, unless I think it just timed out. Treant's walking around with a Sentry, but he's just dropped it. In the bottom part of the river, so VP, smoke up, they're about to cross over with that Observer Ward that is see a lot, but in July, up on the cliffside, breaks at the blind, Blink Crush, won't work, Treant Protector, it's a huge holding, 5 caught side of it, with the Eclipse damage, need to do more, but the Darkseer, the back wall, may be enough, it's a 1-for-1 trade up the Death Ward, is doing its work, but the Batrider, it's iG.Vit coming out on top! VP forced back. The Blink Rush needed to work. In July, it's not done just yet. He wants Pasha. They need to get closer. Sakata gets in behind Solo, and with the Napalm, he can't even turn fast enough. Paparazzi, a double kill for him. In July, kills off Pasha. It's a team wipe. The favorites, Virtus.Pro, just lost everything to iG.Vit.
That was phenomenal positioning from the Batrider. He hit in the trees, he popped the smoke on the back line, and overall their positioning was just great. It's up the hill on the Ancients, and VP, they wanted to fight under the Observer Ward, but iG.Vitality, they didn't make the obvious play. Like, a lot of their plays have just been not by the books. Batrider fighting way before his Blink Dagger, not even going for the Blink Dagger first, not smoking as soon as they get the Blink Dagger, and VP, they're expecting all these things to happen, and they're getting punished when they're like, okay, I guess we should do something because things aren't playing out the way that they wanted it to.
It's spiraling out of control. The graphs just plummet down. It's like right now it's only a 3,500 swing for the net worth, but let's actually have a quick look at it again. There's Lil's initiation, and Q at this point rips the entire VP lineup.
And the Eclipse comes out, and everyone is just clumped up around. They're trying to get all the illusions from the Wall of Replica, but Timbersaw is just so good at cleaning up in this sort of situation, and what great positioning by the Treant Protector. Dodging the Blink Crush, getting a 5-man root, and staying alive.
And judging by that camera view steaming up in the iG.Vit box, they are looking good. They just need to keep that momentum going. There's your graph plummet. VP need to stabilize, but iG.Vit are definitely the ones in the driver's seats.
They just, I think, need probably 1 Force Staff, maybe a 2, I guess, on top of the Batriders, so they can save someone from the Blink Crush. If they can save someone from that, then they can kite the Lifestealer easily with Root, and then after that, most of their damage will be gone, because Slardar is nowhere close to a BKB, and he is just going to perish, and after that, they don't really have too much control with the device. DK does not do that much damage. He's also forced to get it BKB because of this Timbersaw pick.
And with all of this, with no money for Monkey King bars, Paparazzi looks even better. Just walking around with casual evasion, but once this is a butterfly, they're still in trouble, and iG.Vit, they're knocking on the bottom door. They want to come into the VP base, so it took 21 minutes and a bit.
Is under attack.
Burning's the first one to do damage to the tower, and now they're actually TPing out. They get VP to return home.
But look at the observer wards that they've set up. VP have been hailed as one of the best in this patch because of their ability to set up great vision. But now that they've lost fights, they've lost map control, that are losing out in the farm battle, I don't really know if they can keep up their network of vision.
They're trying to. This is the reason why solo smokes. Puts down 2 observer wards in the bottom river area.
Yeah, it's probably time for the Batrider to get a gem. Maybe if they secure the Aegis first, it's still a little bit risky to fight around the pit. I think DK is pretty good in the pit, as well as the Darkseer especially.
It seems like a risk that they just don't need to take, but it looks like in July they're going to hop around it.
They still want to fight.
You have the double damage rune on the Luna, and this may just be enough to encourage them to go in.
Yeah, but he certainly knows up, and they certainly will not let this go for free.
No, they have to fight. Fresh item of the Desolator over on the Lifestealer, so you'll have that for this fight, but they send illusions down from the SD to have a look towards the pit with the Observer Ward and the Sentries down. They're right on top of each other. iG.Vit, they're pulling out of the pit. So VP got the information that Roshan's down to 50%.
Yeah, there's not that many blind spots for iG.Vitality, but that is one of them. The northwest of the Roshan pit. And they have to wait for them to walk into that observer ward. If they push mid T2, I wonder how iG.Vitality are going to react. Might just be time for them to war on the Roshan, but without the DD, it's not going to drop that quickly.
They're going to 5-man smoke.
Yeah, he's at 50% HP, so now they're going to be scouting inside the pit with those solar illusions.
iG.Vit's coming to fight. They're coming to fight. So it's just illusions. The body blocking of the illusions, it just pinged. It just pinged. Solo knew what was happening, so then they just jump forward looking for the SD down to half-life. The factory man wall is run! VP! They hit the mark! Into like the 4-star Vips away on low life. But the Luna and the Timbersaw will drop. Timber won't be down for long, thanks to Bloodstone charges. The Solo's positioning, noticing the illusions, not having clear pathing, allowed VP just to set up properly, but they're going to go in for Roshan. He's down low with the amplification. Chakram causing some problems, but it's still Radiant. They get 1 the kill on Roshan, and 2 pick up the Aegis. As we have ourselves a small little pause. This is actually a huge time to pause, because that Flame Break's going to push a little onto the hill.
VP is just really smart about fighting, how they took that last engagement. If SD dies, not the worst thing in the world. It's not like he really has any items.
Well, Lil gets down just in time, so the Flame Break doesn't push anybody around.
Yeah, and Luna just got blown up so quickly. And she might need a BKB herself to deal with the back wall. Her illusion is going to hurt her team a lot if she gets back into it.
Which means more time that iG.Vit have to stall up. So the fight was good, and with Roshan, they repair all the damage of gold as well as experience. So the game starts to level up more.
Yeah, the blink from Pasha really making the big difference in that last team fight. They need Timbersaw to be... He was out in front. He got a decent amount of damage on a Shadow Demon, but then he backed up immediately after. They need him to provide vision for the team fights. He needs to be the big bad bruiser in front. So, if you go on him, you're going to lose the fight. But if he retreats, then Luna's left vulnerable to these blink initiations from VP.
Which is why Luna, even if you do have a BKB, you may not get it off in time. Satanic may be the other way, just have the strength to survive, and then just, yep, that'll work. A VP, they're already prepping to fight once more. Looking down that mid lane. And they're bringing everybody. They don't have the best momentum in the side lanes. It's going the way of iG.Vit on the top, even with a catapult behind it.
They have to be careful though. The Luna is still very, very strong. She has Butterfly. She's way ahead in net worth at the moment. So can't be too reckless with this siege. And Sakata's still, very, very far back, just scared of immediately dying.
There goes the tier 2 tower.
Maybe once he gets his plate mail on the Timber, he can play more aggressively. But he's just very, very scared.
So that's the downside about going for this Yule Scepter build. You can't just get that straight Shivas, but you can still PMS and you can pick up that plate mail now.
Yeah, he probably wants some way to get rid of the amplified damage. But as long as he doesn't die to the initial burst, he should be fine once he builds up some stacks. And Gem has been picked up by July, and we'll take this time to get rid of some of the VP vision 3 observer wards around the middle. Again, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get them all.
Kind of like a risky situation, right? You know the Slaughter could be their raid link on you. And they don't have the vision of Lil at the moment. In fact, now with the Chakrams from Sakata, they will.
So that's 2 observer wards down. 2 more, a little bit away from the Roshan pit.
They didn't find entry. It's a little bit more covered up. Normally that wouldn't be as important, but the fact you're running a Train Protector and they're trying to make the most out of that invis time. But now he's going to see it with the Firefly.
I'm not sure if he saw the one that Lil is standing on top of right now.
They pinged it. You got just close enough for it. But it's, again, like, it's the wrong side of the river that iG.Vit just cannot move to unless they go in force.
And Luna, looks like signs of a BKB are coming out. Ogre Club in the stash.
Alright, so she'll go for the immunity. Fantastic thing during the fight. Already got ways to get rid of the amplification. Now, there's no extra stuns. Won't fear that Dark Seer initiation as much either.
Even more than that, there's like the disruption on her, which her illusions do a lot of damage. You don't really want to give SD free damage, although I guess you can replicate a Manta illusion.
Yeah.
So it's not that big of a deal, but the Breathe Fire also limits a lot of her damage because she has so much agility at the moment.
Timber's pushing in the mid, so VP. They will get to claim this tier 2 tower, iG.Vit. There's no reason to slow this down. Like, may fortify so they can push in through the top lane and try and get a tier 2 tower of their own, but iG.Vit are not committing to the push. They're moving back again, looking to farm, and looks like they just don't want to fight until Luna has that BKB.
Or while Lifestealer has Aegis. Losing the gem right now would be very costly, would set them back a good amount of time.
And they only have to wait 50 seconds, and then that Aegis is gone.
Yeah, Lifestealer does not have that much in his defense. He's going very heavy on the damage. Just really the armlet from the armor from the armlet to help him survive.
Like going Yasha as opposed to something else, like Basher, or maybe even more defensive for his team with the AC.
He might be going Manta. It's a common pickup on strength heroes to deal with the root from the Train Protector. You don't want to have to use your Infest, and you can't wait for a Rage, or else you might just lassoed without your Rage up and just die. So this way he can be more self-sufficient, and you can't rely on the Shadow Demon this game because Shadow Demon is still very poor, but he is going for the Scepter. Great way to deal with the Luna in the late game. She might have to get a Hurricane Pike to not get kited in the fights later on.
Oh, Aegis has now been reclaimed. It's a long Roshan spawn timer, so 2.5 out of the 3 potential minutes that both these teams will have to wait. The BKB over on Luna. iG.Vit is in a decent position to try and look for an engagement if they wish.
They need more on the supports of iG.Vitality. The Train Protector is just bare bones in his Arcane, plus
they're literally
support items.
Literally the same items right now.
Yeah, Witch Doctor Scepter is also something that you probably want to aim for in the late game, similar to how the Shadow Demon is, that versus this many melee heroes. It would do a lot of damage.
Well, instead, they seem to be very much focusing on the Yule Scepter build. Yeah. Unless that's going to be...
He's going for a force.
It'll be a 4-stop, so it's just the movement speed with the lace.
Great at kiting a DK. I guess the Lotus would actually be pretty useful. I don't know who would farm it. I guess the Timber saw him, but he definitely needs the armor from the Shiba first before he can think about a Lotus. And Shadow Demon plays some wards in mid.
Well, the Luna is the only one close enough to it at the moment. The rest of iG.Vit are being put into nature's guise.
Yeah, they don't actually have too much protection on the Radiant side either. They could easily get caught out by a Batrider who's under nature's guise. But I like the way they move. They're like constantly seeking to get better position. Like if iG.Vitality come to them, they're iG.Vitality going to lose the team fight because they'll be able to either kite the Luna while she's BKB'd or pop her before her BKB is activated. And the only time that they've lost a big fight, really the only fight that one of the only 2 they've taken was on iG's terms up onto their secret shop. But now this is a little bit of a compromising position. They're on flat ground. They don't have vision behind the tower. So this could be a maneuver for Batrider to Firefly through the top side, which they're actually maybe kind of expecting with Lifestealer's positioning.
Here it comes in July, jumping around the back. The Firefly vision sees Punch with a jump forward. He found the real DK. Nope, dragged in with the Eclipse. No one's so. It's his BKB up in the back wall. Space is being created now for Virtus.Pro. The Eclipse still doing work, but will it be enough? The BK Luna now wears off. Ramses, one more hit will do it. Burning looks for the body block. The force up, the crush from Lil won't do enough, but maybe the elusive beam. Slaughter trapped inside the base. They're just chasing him in deeper. iG.Vit down to just a few here, but it's VP who was salt into that tier 3 tower. Lil has managed to go on for a long wander straight past the fountain, past the tier 4 towers, and out through the bottom of the base. He'll rejoin the rest of his teammates in a bit. The Virtus.Pro making the most of the time they've got. Bring down the tier 3 tower, now into the melee racks as well. iG.Vit, they just don't have the defense against it.
Wow, no one was so close to dying at the beginning of the fight, which would have been a completely different story. And again, they get a huge vacuum crush wall. Yeah, you have to admire VP's ability to team fight.
Oh, the patience. Like we're seeing very different game style. Folk was mentioning the fact that we've had a couple of CIS teams, Team Empire and VP, are normally the ones which go high up on the list of struggling at the Valve major event, but Virtus.Pro, they're showing their depth, not just in their draft, because this is obviously not depth in their draft with what they've got here, but in their play style. They're happy to go hyper-aggressive. They can play the very stalled trade-off style of gameplay.
And they also have a lot of confidence plays. Like before that, it was pretty much zero worth, which is very difficult to push into a T2 tower against a Batrider, and they were just confident that they'd be able to get the BKBs up and not die, and to pull off their teamfight combo. So now Darkseer is probably priority number 1, at least stopping his Blink Dagger so he doesn't get a great initiation.
That's rather difficult to do unless in July, well, he could have actually not gone on no one. But at the same time, if that works, you get no one with his BKB down, the Eclipse does solo effect damage onto a Dragon Knight, and they almost killed him with that alone. So maybe next time, like, yeah, this could actually work.
Yeah, it was really close to working. At the same time,
okay, maybe not anymore.
Shadow Demon, yeah, he has gone back for that.
Yeah, the Blink Dagger pickup over on the SD. Talked about the range at the very start of this game for SD, not the greatest instant counter to a Batrider.
They are smoked without the Timbersaw. Timbersaw does not have BOTs. He's on the far top side of the map, so this could be potentially a good opportunity for iG.Vitality
VP smoking up. Could look to go into Roshan, which they may think is alive, but it's another 40 seconds or ish until Roshan is up and running, and they'll find a traitor in their midst, aka the Dire Catapult, which accidentally solo attacked, breaking his smoke. So it's iG.Vit who are currently, I almost want to say smoked, but they're just nature's guys, hanging around that tier 2 tower.
And they're pinging on the T3, and Paparazzi does not have a TP scroll. Maybe he can exchange with one of the supports, but this could take some damage. There is an Infest Bomb waiting perhaps to be exploded on.
If they can't fight with their Luna, Luna's only just entering the base. VP didn't force the issue until now. No one will be the one man to the front lines. And once again, these TPs look for that Batrider initiation. No one's caught inside the chakra, as Luna molts up the rest of the wave. But all this chip damage doesn't mean that much if iG.Vit can hold, because you've still got the living armor. So it's not a kill push here from Virtus.Pro. They'll back up. Remember, they were still waiting for Roshan, and Roshan's alive, but because they didn't kill the catapult, iG.Vit also have this information. And now the trader will die.
They've finally seen the Lifestealer pop out, but this is not good positioning from them, and one Observer Ward, D Ward. They still have another one, but it doesn't catch sight of any of iG.Vitality.
iG's looking back into Roshan. Now, Injuly didn't go just far enough to the side to see the Observer Ward. Now with this flight, he will actually see the Obs Ward. So VP are going to have a very dark map. 2 wards that are unable to go through full duration. In fact, if you look at the map at the moment, all they've got is their illusions. So this turns into 5-man Dota just because of this.
And who's going to get the jump on whom?
At this point, no one. iG.Vit's backing out. defend the base to start with and stay as close as you can to Roshan.
You can't leave that long though. Slardar with the Amplify, with the Lifestealer, and no way to scout inside the pit.
With the Manta Illusions, and they have a Dire Observer Ward on the hillside.
Yeah.
Now, there's no flying vision in that area.
They're
So
sending a
while no
catapult
one
in.
does actually have a gem, yeah, another traitor. There's plenty more where that came from.
And I see no smokes in either team's inventory.
Now, VP can wait. Look at top lane. iG.Vit have to go back to defend this unless they want to lose tier 4 towers. The BTs really need to come on that Timbersaw. So he can be that defense, but instead we've got an in July BKB flying out in the courier at the moment. So the Bat Rider's got a little bit more.
There's still the siege creep inside. They see all 4 of these heroes, and Lifestealer just popped his raid. It could be a good time for them
Q
to
is
fight.
close enough that his overgrowth will also be effective from outside that pit.
They also need Sakata over here. He was pushing out the lanes as you had mentioned.
They need BTs. They need something. Bottom lane's pushing in too far. The top lane continues to pressure, and VP will back out every single time there's no one from iG.Vit defending the top lane.
They're very vigilant about constantly having something close to or inside the pit, in between the Manta Illusions and the HOD, knowing that any 10-second window could be VP's chance to take down that prized Roshan. But seeing how low it is, it could be very tempting for them to go inside themselves. And VP's also doing the same thing, constantly sending a barrage of illusions throughout the lanes and around the pit.
This time they're infested. VP still have not seen that Observer Ward up on the hillside. This is doing so much work for iG.Vit. They know where VP is moving. They can reposition for it. So they send a Timber Storage to start with. Living Arm was already up, so he tanked up a lot of that damage. Forced up out to the back of 3-man wall. He's great boost to DK. Locked in position with that lasso, but now he breaks free and does his to Q. Paparazzi can't attack fast enough. He'll go down, and without the Luna, iG.Vit must be in full retreat. Or will they? The Timber isolated now. iG.Vit, they've still got extra support with the Blink Crush from it keeps the Witch Doctor up. Burning will get instantly evaporated, and in July, the last man left standing, but he will not stand for long as they surround him for the death parade. Team wipe in favor of Virtus.Pro. Now they can take Roshan and maybe more.
Now they are just so darn tanky that they're definitely able to pop their BKBs in time, and now with Solo at the backup with a Blink Dagger, there is very little chance of any of their strength heroes dying at the start. And Timbersaw, he's supposed to be the tankiest hero on the side of iG.Vitality, but he almost got blown up in a matter of seconds. They had to blow so many cooldowns at the start. And Luna, she popped her Manta early, and she just got amped and focused down during her BKB. It doesn't even matter that Lifestealer does not have an MKB just yet. And also the Manta Illusion from the Lifestealer also tanked up those flips.
Sakata thought he had it. Q jumps in, throws the ulti out. The DK's low, but he can just toggle through it. They lose another 2. Fighting before the Luna is back up and running. And this may be VP's ticket to actually gain Megas. And in fact, they just get the GG call. iG.Vit had nothing else to defend. Virtus.Pro take game 1.
A very scary game for Virtus.Pro. Showcasing a little bit of the weakness, maybe a bit of predictability from the heroes that they run in the draft, and I think a lot of fortitude coming out from iG.Vitality with the Treant Protector pick, the way they